Again, it's a rich thing.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to do something new. We are going to do Codewars challenges. Now, for those of you who do not know what Codewars is, it is basically a challenge website where you can solve logical or algorithmical or programmatical challenges using your favorite programming language. So as you can see here, we have, for example, the challenge scaling squared strings, and you can solve it in all these languages here. So C, C++, Java, Python. Python is what we're going to do here in today's video. And the idea of this video today is that I'm just going to do some challenges. They have different difficulties. 8 is the lowest difficulty and 1 is the hardest. We're not going to do anything like 1, 2 or something because those are actually quite big challenges. We're going to work our way up from 8, 7, 6, 5, and so on, depending on how long it takes. And this video is not going to be scripted, it's not going to be prepared, so I'm just going to do some challenges. I'm going to record myself live while I'm doing these challenges for the first time, so it's not prepared. And maybe I'm going to cut out boring moments, but in general, you're going to see how I solve problems. Maybe I'm going to Google, so you're going to see that if I struggle with something, I am going to Google on Stack Overflow or in the Python documentation. And if you guys like that video, I'm going to do more episodes like that. If it doesn't perform too well, we're going to keep this to 1 episode, so you decide if you want to see more of that kind of content, but I thought I'm going to try it, so let us get right into it. Alright, so let's get started with something that has 8Q difficulty. This should be very, very easy, so we're going to do something like remove exclamation marks. This should be super simple, just for the warm-up here, and we're going to click on train. And we should have, okay, write function remove exclamation mark, which removes all exclamation marks from a given string. So this should be super simple. This is actually not really a challenge. We just say s.replace, and then we're going to replace this with that. So that should actually work. Let's test it. None should be equal to, or maybe we should say return as replace. There you go, passed all the tests. Attempt, there you go, passed all the tests. So we can submit it. Now that was not really a challenge. Let's see if there's a smoother version. No, most people do it like that. So that was not really a hard one. It's 8Q level, so let's move on to 7Q. This is actually quite simple. 7Q, let's filter and string ends with. Let's try this one here. What do we have here? We have, let's click on train. We have the following task. Complete the solution so that it returns true if the argument string passed in ends with the second argument also a string. Oh, so basically we should return true if string ends with ending. So that should be fairly simple. Return string dot ends with ending. That should actually be it. Wow. Okay, that was not really difficult at all, so I think that is also pretty much the best solution. At least I think so. Let's see. Solution equals str ends with. What's that? Ends with. Oh, he just assigned the... Oh, that's smart. He just assigned the function to that. Okay, I mean, that's not really a complicated challenge either, so let's go and try another 7, and then we're going to go to 6 if this 7 is really super simple. So let's maybe filter by popularity. Okay, I've done this one already. I've done this one already. Disembowel trolls. Let's see. Train. Trolls are attacking your comment section. A common way to deal with this situation is to remove all of the vowels from the troll's comments, neutralizing the threat. Your task is to write a function that takes a string and return a new string with all vowels removed. For example, the string "this website is for losers, lol" would become that string here. Okay, for this kata, Y isn't considered a vowel. Now, a very basic way would be to just say string dot, I'm thinking about a better way maybe. Now, what we can definitely do, this is not a clean solution maybe, or not the best solution, I'm just thinking out loud now. We could definitely go ahead and say string.replace and then go with a replaced by nothing. And then, come on. And then I could copy that and do that for all the vowels. So that would definitely work. But I'm not sure if that is a good solution or a smooth solution. By the way, can I turn on the Vim bindings here? Does this work? Yeah, it works. Okay. So what we could do is, I thought about something like a list comprehension where I basically say new string equals, or maybe actually, no, that's not a good idea. Let's think about it. I mean, I can immediately solve it, but I want to have a good solution. I don't want to have a stupid solution. So is there a way to have, or actually we could do it like that. We could do it, it's actually the same, but we can, instead of writing the same line all over again, we can say vowels equals A, E, I, O, U. And then for V in vowels, we can say string dot replace V by an empty string. So that would definitely work, or I think this should work. Let's see if it works. Test this website. Okay, it doesn't work. I'm just not sure if string replace actually replaces the string. So let's see if that works. Okay, so this does not work. Why is that? This website is for losers. Lol should equal. Oh, okay, because we don't have the uppercase letters. So we can copy that and say upper as well. So that should work. Okay, this works, but I'm not sure if it's the best solution. So we're going to attempt, and we're going to see the solutions of the other people. Maybe there is a very smooth list comprehension or something like that. I'm sure there is, so let's just wait. It's loading. I mean, we could definitely do that with list comprehension, but I would have to think about it a little bit longer, and I want to move on to more interesting challenges. There you go. So, translate. The translate function in Python, what does it do? It translates none to the vowels. There's a list comprehension or a set comprehension. C for C in string, if C lower. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm interested in the translate function now, so let's just Google that. Python translate function. Not sure that I have ever used it. I think I've used it once in a Caesar encryption. But besides that, what does it do? Replace any S characters with a P character. Okay. So you're basically providing what has to be translated to what. But how does this work? Or does this work for a whole set here? So every letter in this string is translated to none. I mean, that's interesting, to be honest. Let's see if I can figure out if that's actually the way it works. So let's open up the idle. And then we're going to have a string, which is going to be hello world. Then a couple of H and J characters. And now I'm going to replace H and J with something else. So translate, and then I'm going to pass, I don't know, zeros for H, J. Yeah, that's it. Does it work like that? No. Takes exactly one argument, 2 given. But it takes 2 arguments here, doesn't it? S.translate, or is none not an argument? Okay, maybe this doesn't work in that Python version, or I'm just too stupid to understand what it's doing. Doesn't matter, let's move on to the next one. We're going to go to level 6, or to difficulty 6, which is going to probably not be as simple. Let's sort again by popularity. I've done all of these here. Stop spinning my words. Write a function, or actually let's start training first. Write a function that takes in a string of one or more words and returns the same string but with all 5 or more letter words reversed, like the name of this kata. So write a function that takes in a string of one or more words and returns the same string but all 5 or more letter words reversed. Okay? Strings passed in will consist of only letters and spaces. Spaces will be included only when more than one word is present. Okay, that makes sense. So what we can definitely do is we can say words equals, and then we can say sentence dot split on space. And now we have the list of words, and now we can say we want to reverse. So what we can do is we can say words equals, and then we can say W, or let's call it word. By the way, can I zoom in on that so that you guys can better see that? Maybe. Let's just remove this or move this. And we're going to increase that a little bit, the code section here. So the idea is that I say words equals sentence dot split and words equals word dot, or actually let's say reversed word for word in words, and we're going to say reversed word if length of the word is what we say 5 or more, so larger or greater or equal to 5, and else we're going to say just word. And then in the end we're going to say return join words. So I'm going to zoom out again in order to run a test. And this actually doesn't work. Why? Expected string instance reversed found. Okay, reversed doesn't seem to be the proper thing. So we're going to say word dot, or actually we should be able to say str reversed word. Does it work like that? Reversed object should equal welcome. Okay, let's just open up an idle real quick. So I want to see what reversed actually does. So if I say reversed of hello, it gives me a reversed object. Okay, and if I say string of reversed hello, okay, doesn't really help a lot. So if I say hello like that, that is what I need. So I'm going to delete 3 words. There you go, word. I'm going to say, let me just zoom in again. I'm going to use the slicing. So we're going to say colon colon -1, which is a way of reversing the string. And now I'm going to test this. There you go, it works. So I think that this is actually quite a smooth solution. I'm not even sure if we need to split, but I think we have to split. But maybe we can do it like that. We can say return and then join that. Maybe this also works. There you go. I think this is a pretty smooth solution. As you can see now, let's repeat what I did here. I say spin word sentence, and then I just split all the words. So if we do, let me show you in Python here. If we have a sentence here like hello world, I am neural 9, and then I go with split on white spaces, then you can see that I get a list of individual words. And what I'm doing then is I say, okay, reverse each individual word if the length of the word is greater or equal to 5. Otherwise, just keep the word itself for all words in words, or for every word in words. And this works, so we can go ahead and, oh, it doesn't work actually. Not for everything at least. Oh, of course, we need to join on white spaces, I think. There you go. Now it works. Submit. And let's see if anyone has a better solution than us. because that's actually a pretty solid two-liner here. Maybe we could even, I'm not sure. But there you go. Okay, this guy has done what I just wanted to say. He did the exact same thing that we did, but he included the sentence split in the list comprehension. So that is one thing that we could also do. But it seems like we have pretty much the best solution here. So let's go and make another 6Q thing. Actually, the 5Q things are significantly more difficult than the 6Q things, but they're still not very difficult, but 4Q gets quite difficult already. So let's go with popularity again. And did it already filter? I think it did. So I've done all of these. Who likes it? I've done that. Counting duplicates. Let's do counting duplicates. Doesn't sound too difficult. So let's go with train. And write a function that will return the count of distinct case-insensitive alphabetic characters and numeric digits that occur more than once in the input string. The input string can be assumed to contain only alphabets, both uppercase and lowercase, and numeric digits. So what exactly should we count here? No characters repeat more than once. A, B appears twice. Okay, so actually what we need to do is we need to figure out how many characters appear more than once. That's actually all we need to do. So that should not be too difficult. We just have to say, let's do it like that. We're going to say list comprehension. Let me just zoom in again. Can I maybe just get this? There you go. So now we have this code here. So what we want to do is we want to have, let's say 1, 4, or actually, does it work like that? Because we want to have an efficient solution. I don't want to iterate over the text all the time. I want to have a good runtime complexity here. So let me think about this. We want to find out for each character if it occurs a second time. That's a little bit more difficult, I think. So let's do something that is definitely not the most efficient solution, or probably not the most efficient solution. We're just going to implement the logic first. So we're going to say 4-letter in text. We're going to have a list, which we call occurred. And this is going to be an empty list. And now we're going to say, okay, for each letter in the text, we're going to say if letter dot lower not in occurred, then we're going to say occurred. Actually, I think we need to use double R to make it grammatically correct. Occurred dot append, and we're going to append the letter in lowercase. Otherwise, and maybe we can do here counter equals 0. Otherwise, we're going to say counter plus equals 1. Now the problem is that if a letter occurs 3 times, we only want to increase the counter 1 time. So again, this is maybe not the best solution, but we're going to do it for now. We're going to say found, so already found. And we're going to say if the letter, or actually let me think about this. If the letter is not in occurred, we're going to append it. Or actually, we don't need to do that, I think. If the letter is not already in occurred, we're going to append it, and we're going to count plus 1. So if it appears another time, we're not even going to get into that if, so we don't need to handle anything except for that. And no, actually, it doesn't work like that. We need to say if it occurred, we don't have to count up. If it occurs a second time. So maybe we need that list. So we need to say, okay, empty list here, found. If it does not occur, we don't do anything. If it already occurs, then we're going to say, okay, if letter.lower not in found, then we're going to increase the counter by 1, and we're going to say found.append counter.lower. Now that is pretty inefficient, I think. It's not a smooth solution. So we're going to change that probably. But I want to see if it works. So we're going to say return counter. I want to see if that works. So let's zoom out again. And let's test if that works. Okay, doesn't work all the time. Int object has no attribute lower. Counter.lower. Oh. Letter.lower. Okay, it seems to work, but this is probably not the best solution. So let's think about how we can do this better. Now, we want to iterate over all these letters. And if we encounter something that we have already encountered, then we want to count up. But if we have already count up for that particular letter, we don't want to count up another time. We want to only say it's more than once. If it occurs 100 times, it still only has to be increased once. So, I mean, one thing that we could do, let's just do it down here. This is a little bit abstract. We could say occurring letters equals set of text. So we get, let me just show you what this does. If we have a text here, hello world, and so on, and I now get the set of that text, what we get is we get all the individual letters that occur in that set, or in that sentence, only once. So we could actually say, let me think about this. I don't want to count because that is a bad runtime complexity. Now, by doing that, I iterate over the whole list once. So this is a linear runtime complexity. If I now go ahead and say count for each character, we have a, I think it's worse than linear complexity. Or at least it's not better than linear complexity. So what can I do with that set of letters here? If I have all the individual letters, I need to just check if they occur more than once. But is there a way to do that better than linearly? Or is there a function that can just extract that for me? I don't think so, to be honest. Now, what we can do is we can do something else. We can do, let me delete that. We can do, or actually, no, we don't want to delete that. We can say counts, and then we can say equals, can we do it like that? No. My idea would be to just say, okay, we count, we iterate through the whole list, and whenever we encounter a letter, we increase the respective index in that list. But I think, you know, the only thing that we might find here is a shorter solution, but I don't think we're going to find a radically more efficient solution. So whatever I can think of right now, of course, if I really sit down for a longer time, maybe I can find something that is way smoother. But it all boils down to, you need to go through the list because you need to look at all the individual letters, because the set is not enough. You need to know how often do the individual letters occur, and need to know if that is more than once, basically. So you have to look at all the individual letters. You cannot just do something else. You have to look at all the individual letters, which means that you need to have a linear runtime complexity. So I don't think that this is going to change. At the same time, you cannot just look at them and say, okay, it occurred more than once. Or actually, we are doing that. If it occurs more than once, we're counting up, but only one time. So I think actually the solution is not too bad. I think I'm going to submit it, and we're going to then look at the other solution. Maybe I'm going to feel stupid, but let's see. Maybe the other solutions are not too Good. So as you can see, first of all, it works. This is the most important part. It works. And now let's see if someone else has a very smooth solution, which I think there will be a smooth solution, but let's see. Always takes so long to load. Oh, wow, that is beautiful. What does he do? It says C for C in set. Okay, we talked about that. So he has the set of all the characters that occur. Okay, but actually this is not too smooth because I'm not sure if that does not have a worse runtime complexity. Because what this person is doing, for each character in the set, he's calling the count function on s.lower. Now, it is a one-liner, but I'm not sure if that is actually efficient. Because for each character that occurs in the sentence, he's running the count function. And the count function has linear runtime complexity as far as I know. So we can look that up. We can say Python count function runtime complexity. I'm not sure if we're going to find something. There you go. The time complexity of the count method is O of n. And he's doing that, he's calling that function as many times as there are distinct characters. Now, you could argue that it is actually linear runtime complexity because you have a limited set, so you cannot go more than 26 plus 26 plus 10 because you have 26 uppercase letters, 26 lowercase letters, and 10 numbers, 10 digits. So it cannot go beyond that, but still, I don't think that this is really more efficient than what I'm doing. So I think actually that the solution that I showed you is more efficient, even though it looks more complicated and has more lines of code. I think it's more efficient than this. And what do we have else here? If text lower count C larger 1. Yeah, okay. So I think we had a pretty good solution. Let's do one more. I'm not sure if we should go for 5 because maybe we're not going to find a solution, but let's go and try it. And sort by popularity. Have I ever done any 5s? I mean, I have the 5Q level here, so I should be able to do that. But as I see, oh, I have done some of them. So let's go with directions reduction. And I hope this is not too difficult. Oh boy. Let's, before we start, read what it's about. A man was given directions to go from one point to another. Directions were north, south, west, east. Clearly, north and south are opposite, west and east too. Going to one direction and coming back to the opposite direction right away is a needless effort. Since this is the Wild West, with dreadful weather and not much water, it's important to save yourself some energy, otherwise you might die of thirst. How I crossed a mountainous desert the smart way. The directions to the man are, for example, the following depending on the language. So we have north, south, south, east, west. Now this, for example, would be something that is useless, I think. So what that would mean is that we basically do nothing. And this would also mean we do nothing because up, down is basically stay where you are. So it's one time down. Then it's east-west, which is basically left-right, so or right-left, so just ignore that. Then you have north, but since you have south, you basically have south-north, which is down-up, so you ignore that as well. Then you just go west, so west would be the result. Okay, I think we should be able to do that. I think that is not too complicated. So let's go. I'm thinking about doing that recursively, though, because you have to do it over and over again until you have the right solution. So I would say, let's do it like that. Changed equals false. Oh, shit. I didn't want to do a test. Okay. Doesn't matter. I didn't attempt. I just tested. Let me just increase the code size again. There you go. So my idea is to go through the array and say, okay, if we don't change anything, it's already optimal, so we don't have to do anything besides that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, if we don't change anything, we're just going to return the array. But then we're going to say for Let's do it in the inefficient way first. For x in array, we're going to say if, or maybe we should use an index here. Let's say for I in range 0 up until length of the array, we're going to say for I in range, we're going to say, okay, if array I is equal to, maybe we should have opposites. So let's say opposites, or maybe that doesn't make too much sense. If array I is equal to east, for example, and array I plus 1 is equal to west, if that is the case, then we should just remove them. That's the idea. And the same goes for west, east, north, south, south, north. And then we do that until there's nothing to remove. Is there a more simple way to do that? Now, I think we can do that with a string. That would be, I'm not sure that's going to work out. Maybe it's super stupid, but let's just say join array. And then we say array is equal to that. And we say r replace. And then we're going to replace east, south by nothing. We're going to replace, actually, let's just copy that a couple of times. We're going to replace, not east, south, by the way, east, west. Then we're going to say west, east, south, north, north, south. Now the problem is that we cannot really check if something was replaced, can we? Python replace. Does this have a return value? That's the question. Don't we have a documentation somewhere? Docs Python. Replace. Okay, no, this is not the replace function. Do we have somewhere a documentation of the return value? Does it have a return value? There you go. The replace method returns a copy of the string where the old substring... Oh yeah, obviously I'm stupid. So we actually need to... where the old substring is replaced with a new substring. Okay, but we can do that in a very simple way. We can say old equals array. Or actually, we do that after that. We say old equals array. And if array equals old, then we return array. And we don't need the changed. Or no, we can do it like that. While changed. And we're going to put that inside of here. So while changed is going to be false. We're going to start with changed equals true. While changed equals false, array equals, we join that, we replace all that. If the array is the same as it was before, we have the array. Otherwise, changed equals true, and we do another iteration. Now the problem is that we now have this string, and we need to somehow extract the individual words out of it. So the question is, how do we do that? Because now I think we actually solved the problem. I think so. But the problem is that we now have a string that looks somewhat like, let me do that in the idle. We have a string that looks somewhat like that. East, north, east, southwest, for example. And we need to somehow extract the individual words. But we don't have anything. Oh, I have an idea. When joining them, we can use some separator. Like that, for example. Like a space. And then we can split on that. So we can say east-west, west-east, south-north, north-south, like that. And then we can say array.split on space. Now, I think that should actually work, but I'm sure it won't work because it would be too good to be true if it works first time. So let's test. North, south, south, east, west, northwest should equal west. Okay, so it didn't work for that. Let's see what happens if I copy that. Let's open a new file here. This is the array that we have. And I copy my code. Didn't copy my code. There you go. So let's see what happens if I say print reduce, direction reduce of the array. So I have to save it first. Test.py. Now let's run this. It's not defined. Okay, so north-south was not filtered. Why is that? Let's say what happens when I print array here. Does it work actually? The joining. It does work, okay. But north-south is not being removed. North-south is not being replaced. Oh, I think maybe the only problem is that we're not assigning. Maybe that is actually the only problem. Oh, now we have a different problem. Now we're joining. Oh my God, no. So we have south. Okay, we have a big problem here. So the replacing works, but the splitting does not work. Why is that? Now let me print array here. And we're not going to print it here. So this actually works. That is what we want to have. But we have a space here. We have two white spaces here. We have one white space here. Okay. That is a bit difficult now. So it's just a matter of string formatting, because if we would take that and we feed it again into the script, it should actually be able to extract south, north again, and then we would end up with west. But that does not happen. Why not? We're removing north, south, south, north. Why? I don't understand why. I mean, I understand why this happens, but why does that happen? Oh, maybe because we start with an array. That's a bit... Maybe we have to do this one time and not in the while loop. Oh, almost works. Now we have the problem that we have those empty strings here. This empty list here. So we need to remove these double things here. And we need to also remove... We need to actually remove all of the individual white spaces. Or no, we need to remove all of the duplicate white spaces, and we need to remove all the white spaces in the beginning and the end. I think that's what we need to do. So we need to say r equals r.replace. Oh man, this is getting messy. We have double white space here replaced by one white space. Then we have if array dot starts with white space, then array equals array, and then from first position onward. And if array dot ends with white space, and array is array up until the last one. Let's see if that works. There you go, it works. So it is a really messy approach, but I think this should work. Let's see. Now let me just remove all that. Let's see if that works. Wow, actually works. Now, to be honest, I'm not sure how long it would take to now come up with a clean solution. I'm basically just using string functions here. I think there is a way better approach, but since this video is going already for some time, I think I'm just going to attempt. I'm going to submit, and then we're going, oh, wow, we have a problem. That should equal, okay. Okay, the problem is just with empty lists. That's not too hard to fix. If we have nothing in the end, we should actually have an empty list. So we should have array split dot replace, or actually dot array split. If array split is not equal to that, else that. Wow, that is the most unprofessional solution that I can think of. But let's see if it works. Okay, it works. So I'm going to submit that, and I know that you probably lost respect in me as a coder, or for me as a coder, because of that solution in the end here. But let's see what the other people were doing. Probably they have some wonderful, beautiful solutions. But I think it would take a lot of time to do that. Now this one has a dictionary: north, south, east, west, south, north, west, east. And it says, okay, new plan for D in plan. It says if new plan and new plan, the last element, are opposites, new plan.pop. What is new plan -1? New plan -1 is the last element of the list, isn't it? So if I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, index -1 should be 5, right? Yeah. So he's taking the last element and the whole list. I don't really understand what he's doing. So he takes a whole list. Oh no, he's asking something else. He says, okay, if there is something in the list and new plan and the last element is equal to opposite. Oh, okay, he's popping off the last element if the opposite D is inside of that list. Otherwise, he appends D to the new plan. Okay, that's smart. That's pretty abstract. Now, this guy did something similar to what I did. Actually, quite the same thing, but in a better way, you could say. So he basically joins all of them with white spaces, replaces the strings, splits them up again, and then calls the function recursively. Okay, that's way better. But it's all not too far away from what I did. I mean, that is something different, but that is not too far away from my solution. So I feel a little bit better now. Yeah, I think that's it. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something. If so, let me know by hitting a like button and leaving a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know if you want to see more of those uncut or kind of uncut videos where I just do some challenges, where I just do some coding and you watch and, you know, maybe you comment in the comment section what you think about this, or maybe you code along if you want to. You can also try to solve the challenges while I am solving them in the video. So let me know if you like that content. If you like this format, if you want to see more cuts, if you want to have the uncut version, let me know everything in the comment section down below. Depending on your feedback, I'm going to adjust and make more episodes, better episodes, or not, depending on what you say. So besides that, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to not miss a single future video for free. And other than that, thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video, and bye.